cheers and welcome to Bitter Reality Brewing. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You're gonna be like, well, you know, he's a big Anvil Foundry fan. I'm gonna tell you, I don't spend a ton of money on equipment like this with all the add-ons I got, not to enjoy it and brew with it and look forward to cool things. But this is huge. Do not brew with a brand new BrewZilla until you test this. Test this. If you just got one, or if you're new to brewing and you've brewed a few batches and you're like, it's a little thin or it's a little thick, I'm not hitting my gravity, you know, my OG's way off, something's not right, I might have it for you. I found a huge concern, and by pure accident. That's right, pure accident. I fixed it. It's fixable. It's very fixable. So I'm just sitting here going, you know what? I want to brew it this soon, so when I get back from CES and everything, I'm going to brew. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this thing. And I filled it up with some water, and I plugged it in. I learned how to use this bad boy. You know, I paired it. I did all kinds of cool things. But before I did that, I was just going through the basics of cleaning, and I did a rookie mistake. I left the spigot open, and you know, things like that. Things that you shouldn't be doing, especially on, you know, I don't know how many brews, but it is what it is. So I got the water going, and I just left it at 150 degrees Fahrenheit, okay? And I'm letting it just kind of simmer, and I'm walking around doing some other things, cleaning up. I've been reorganizing my brew space, and I'm like, that looks like a lot more steam than 150 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you've been brewing for a long time, you know what I'm talking about. You see the steam. It's like 150, you get a little, well, that's nice. And then as you're ramping up to the 212, you start to see more and more steam, and then it starts becoming really intense, and boom, you hit your boil. Well, it's right at that borderline before it starts getting kind of intense, and I'm like, that's weird. 150 degrees, and I kept looking at it, I kept checking it, and it was bouncing up and down a few degrees, and I'm like, so I started doing a lot of research on the internet, and according to the forums, according to people on Kegland for support, the temp can be off about 2 or 3 degrees. It's very common, actually. So they're like, you know, here's how you go through calibrating, and here's how you fix it. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I reduced the water so I have enough that I can, you know, and I do recommend using a digital probe because you need an instant read. So I'm using this nice food grade one. I've had a couple of these, love them, they work great. They're not as expensive as some of the other big brands out there. I use this. These two bad boys were reading the exact same temperature. This, with the probe in here, was not. And I'm thinking it could be off a few degrees because of an offset, you know? Here's what it says it is, but here's what it's expecting it to be inside your malt basket. Yeah, and the Anvil Foundry is that way. The temperature is not identical to what you suspect because it's supposed to be off by a little bit so that your temperature of your malts are where you're expecting it to really be. It's hard to explain. But I'm like, something's not right here. So I put everything down on the actual temp probe in here, and I'll show you what it is so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Easier said than done. And I already got little marks in here from just the water sitting in here bubbling. But you can see there's a little probe way over here. See it? See it down there off onto the side, a little over to the top. Your right, I guess? Yeah, okay. I have the water going. I have both probes hitting it. They're all reading 180 degrees Fahrenheit. This thing says it's 150. I'm like, something's not right. So I get something else going, I'm checking its temp and it's dead on. And I'm like, okay, this is wrong. This is very wrong. It's at 180 degrees Fahrenheit, but it told me it's 150. So if I did not buy this and I wasn't using another probe to verify my temps, and I just decided, hey, I'm new brewing, I'm gonna brew today, got my new BrewZilla. Yeah, I might as well just start it off with boiling the grains and rock on and see what happens. And my efficiencies would have been not even off. They would have been insanely non-existent. But yeah, 30 degrees off in Fahrenheit. That's huge. So if you have a new BrewZilla, or if you have one and you've brewed some batches and your efficiencies are way off and you're not understanding what's going on, either your beers are coming out very thin or they're coming out on the heavier side because, you know, the temp might be way off in one direction or another, check it. You can calibrate it in this device. You can go and you can calibrate it. It's online. I'll leave links down below for all that. But yeah, calibrate it. If you want one of these, of course, I'll leave an affiliate link to more beer. I'm happy I bought this now. I'm very, very happy I bought this because I really don't like to take one device and pair it against another device because then I have to go verify that device, which I did. But these bad boys were dead on, same temp every time. This was not 30 degrees off. So that's all I'm saying is if you have a BrewZilla, or straight up honest, because I told you back when I first got this channel going, I had a glass thermometer that was off by 10 Fahrenheit. Check your temperatures, double check your equipment, pH, double check your pH meter, double check everything. Make sure that the readings you're getting are accurate. If you're not getting accurate readings, there's a problem. Have you taken your hydrometer? Have you verified that it's correct? I've seen a lot of cheap hydrometers out there that are way off. So, you know, if you're getting Brewing America, even Brewing America will say, double check the calibration. We're really good with it, but we miss things because they don't check every single one. It's a spot check type system from my understanding. I could be wrong, it may have changed. But always, always buy quality and check the calibration. Make sure that it's on. What do you do if you have something like not a BrewZilla where you can't calibrate it in the program? You have like just a regular hydrometer. If you know what it's off, you can double check it. Also, keep in mind that some things are off by range, which means they might be dead on, but as things increase or decrease, they start to come up. Yeah. Welcome to measuring and welcome to tools and people manufacturing tools that are off and can't be recalibrated. This one can be recalibrated, and they even recommend checking it from what I was reading in the forums, and I didn't get it in the manual saying, hey, double check your temp. Wish that was like a big warning, double check your temp, because had I brewed, yeah, I'd have had some problems because I would have trusted this, and in the middle of the mash, I'd be putting this in and it'd been like through the roof, and I'd been like, what the heck is going on here? Probably would have caught it, but I probably would have wasted an entire grain bill. So cheers, I appreciate you. In the comments, if you've had anything that's been way off on, you know, temperature or pH or hydrometer, let me know. And if you got a BrewZilla recently and you haven't checked the temp to verify it's calibrated, let me know. You might be off a little. Like they said in the forums, they were talking about 3 degrees on average. This thing was 30 degrees. I was like, I hope I can even calibrate it that far. You can. It's all good. And of course, before I go brewing with it this weekend, I'm gonna double check it again just to make sure everything's hunky-dory before I start putting all the grains in there. But hey, cheers, I appreciate you. Show me a little love. Thank you.